Hello, my name is Bellamy and I'm the author of Raising Happy Hearts and I'm the mother of 6. And today I just wanted to share with you that you are training your kids, whether you do it intentionally or whether you're not. And what I mean by that is that your children know if they have to obey your calm speaking voice or if they only have to obey you once you're yelling and screaming. And so the reason why that is because they know that they're not going to get any repercussions, they're not going to get any consequence until you're yelling and screaming at them, and that's why they obey when you're yelling and screaming, because they know that mom's about to take action. Whereas you can actually teach your children that they need to obey your calm speaking voice by giving them a consequence when they don't obey you saying something calmly. Now you need to make sure that I actually heard you, make sure you get that eye-to-eye contact and say, like I would say to my kids, like, Gracie, I want you to go upstairs and clean your room. And then she'd be like, okay, Mom, and she'll go upstairs and do it. And that's another thing is my children they don't grumble and complain when I ask them to do something. They have a good attitude when I ask them to do something. And that's only because I don't allow the bad attitude. If I were to allow them to go and grumble and complain, then they'd know that they could, they would have to do the work, but they could grumble and complain. So if I catch them grumbling and complaining when I ask them to do something, I check them on it. They get a consequence for doing that. And so they have learned when Mama asks them to do something, they do it with a good attitude. And I had a friend on the phone once, and this is when I was living in Australia, and I was on the phone with her and she was in America, and I asked my kids to do something and they just went ahead and did it. And my friend was really amazed. She was like, oh my gosh, they didn't say, oh, do we have to? I was like, no, they never do that. They just go ahead and do what I ask them to do because I don't allow them to have that bad attitude, and so they don't. It's as simple as that. And so when they do have good attitudes, I'm also really quick to praise them on it. I pay attention to those things because no one just wants to have attention when they do something bad. You want to make sure that you give them good attention when they do something good, so that will give them the encouragement to keep going. And so I was also just talking to my friend here, and she was an au pair in Austria, and so she had to look after 2 younger children. And so she said that they were constantly, they were lazy, they would fight with each other all the time, they would bicker, complain. The mum would do all the work for them and she would call them, man, these are the laziest kids in the world. And the thing is, she set that standard and that's what she allows and that's what they do. But my friend was saying that they went to a day trip to Italy, and it was just a 4-hour trip, and she would dread it because they would be in the back, they would be fighting, yelling, screaming, complaining. They would be asking for technology like iPads and things like that, and if the mum only gave them one, they would fight because they had to share. And my friend said that it was a really stressful drive. Whereas, and I'm not tooting my own horn, I'm just saying that this is just the facts, and I'm trying to help you. So we actually went on a road trip. It was a 6-hour road trip. We went from here where we live in Colorado, we drove to Aspen to see the maroon bells while the aspens were changing color, because it's just a beautiful time. And so I took my friend along with me, and so she was sitting in the back in amongst my 6 children, and she was just amazed. Like, halfway into the trip, she had to do a video of how quiet they were because the whole trip was just peaceful. There was never any yelling, there was never any bickering, complaining, are we there yet? They didn't even have technology, and they just sat there, quietly enjoying the trip and just peaceful. And so she was just really amazed by that, and she was just like, it was just night and day from what she was used to. And so it's possible that you can have a lot of kids and you can have peace and you can have order and you can have joy. It's just a matter of how you train your children. What do you expect them to do? And when they do it, do you praise them for it? Do you talk about how good it is to give them the incentive to keep going? So it's just really important to do these things. I talk more about it in my book, Raising Happy Hearts. I talk about practically, what I do, with my children to really help you, to get your children to obey you and to be happy, to be joyful, to have good attitudes and things like that, okay? So I hope this video blessed you, and if it did, can you please like and share it so it can be a blessing to someone else? And follow me on my page and subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. All right, love you guys, bye.